Sound off time now, and every day on Live at 3, we tackle one of the day's big issues. But our colleague Jeff Wagner from News Radio 620 on vacation today. But we are joined by John Ann Willow with Third Coast Digest. Welcome.
Thank you. This is my first time to do sound.
All right.
All right, here we go. Let's have some fun. Today's topic, misreported crime numbers in Milwaukee. They're worse than first thought after a Journal Sentinel investigation. Chief Ed Flynn addressed the Public Safety Committee yesterday. He reports more than 5,000 crimes were misreported in Milwaukee over the past several years. The Journal Sentinel first reported more than 500 serious assaults were misclassified as minor offenses. So the sound-off question today is, should Chief Ed Flynn be held accountable for alleged misreported crime numbers in Milwaukee?
Care to start us off?
Well, I've been following the story pretty closely, and I have to I get stuck on two things. First of all, the discrepancies in reporting started when the system went live in 2006. And 2 years ago, Flynn himself requested an FBI audit of the same numbers. So given that, it's hard to just make it a slam dunk that he was acting dishonestly on purpose. I really think we need more information before we decide.
Well, you know, the chief has pointed out that there were clerical errors and that there were computer errors as well. And honestly, at yesterday's council meeting, at the hearing, he basically said, as the chief bureaucrat, I am, by virtue of the fact, accountable for it. So he stepped up and took responsibility, even though he was not directly responsible for these numbers being off the mark.
That said, I'm really glad that it came to light, because apparently they've been struggling with this computer system all along, and this is a really important piece of information for the public to have.
And Alderman Bob Donovan actually talked about that. He basically said, listen, these aren't pretty numbers, but the fact is the Journal Sentinel has dug them up. If they had not done so, we would not be aware of the misreporting. Now we're aware of it. We get a chance to put corrections in place, so that's a good thing.
Let's hear what Chris from West Bend has to say.
Should Chief Ed Flynn be held accountable? Absolutely. You need to be responsible and accountable. You have to report these things. It's part of your job, and if not, you got to be held accountable.
Yeah. He's the man in the big chair, so, you know,
Right.
and he's the face of the department, and he has come out and he has answered some questions about this, and I do think that goes a long way as far as at least the public perception goes.
And you know, the paper came up with basically 500 cases in their somewhat smaller sample where crimes had been underreported. The chief's numbers that they came up with, looking at a much larger sample, came up with 5,000 cases where there were crimes
Either
that had been
underreported, overreported, or misreported.
Most underreported, but there were some certainly that were overreported more seriously than they actually were.
And even so, according to his own audit, crime numbers are down by, or violent crime numbers are down about 25% since 2006, since this started. So, I guess, like I said, more information is needed, maybe a new computer system.
Well, still waiting for results from the FBI audit. Here's Ellen from Milwaukee.
No, I don't think he should, because everybody knows that the paper is slanted toward Walker and slanted toward the right wing. I know this will never get on the air because, of course, it's all slanted toward the Republicans.
Well, Ellen, you made error.
Yeah, so there.
That we could help.
All right, let's hear from Lisa from Milwaukee now.
I think that the police chief should be punished because the figures should have been reported as they are. Just because you get a large, nice raise does not mean that you fool around with the figures of the crime. Sad state of affairs.
Well, and Jake, as you mentioned, of course, we're still waiting for the FBI numbers, but the ball does seem to be rolling here.
It does, and I just hope that it doesn't heighten the antipathy between the Journal Sentinel and the police department, and between the police department and the public in the meantime.
All right, let's head over to Storm Team Forecaster.